And it is Wednesday. Just Wednesday. That's it. Hump day, right? Hump day.
Just
Yes.
Wednesday.
We are here, folks. Cruising with the coaches, a conversation with Julie and Lee. We are here to get you through your hump day. That's what we're here for.
Okay.
That's our purpose. Just made it up, but we're going to go with it.
Okay.
Julie, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Good.
I know this is, I love it because this is our second video episode and
Mhm.
it's a great response. People are loving it. They are, okay, I'm just spitballing, but I know they love it anyway. So,
Okay.
because they want to see us. We need to be to our public, right? We're stars. You understand that.
And my response is yikes.
It's all
I
good, folks. Yeah. Yeah, but you're a star and it's cool. So,
no, but it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We appreciate you guys being here with us on another Wednesday. And a lot of times we have episodes, right, that have tips that have, 10 of this, 21 tips to this, 14 reasons to not quit your job, all those type of things, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to want to stick around for today's episode because we have some tips. This is from an article from yourtangle.com, and it's about how seven tips on how you know you are too old to play games in relationships. Okay,
Mhm.
that's what we're going to cover today.
Mm.
Well, let's just put it out there. Like both of us are too old to play games, right? We know this. Both of us are too old to play games. Well, I'm sorry. I'll speak for myself.
Yeah. You're speaking for yourself, sir. No.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, too funny.
But in some of the tips, they talk about it from a woman's point of view, and I'm
Okay.
not sure who wrote the article or the tips, but I think some of them apply to people. All right, so let's just put that out there.
Mhm.
So they actually kind of talk about when you're younger, right? You, it's harder to not play games because you don't have self confidence. It's hard to be honest and straightforward with people, right? You don't want to get hurt, that kind of thing. But like that's what we want, right? A person who knows what they want, who can be direct, but we're afraid of rejection. And so here, like they say, if we typically commit little white lies to make it better for either our feelings or someone else's feelings, right? So
Who does this?
uh, I don't know
Uh,
anyone who's ever played games, you know?
oh,
And before we get into the tips, can we just put out there that it has nothing to do with age? It
oh
has nothing to
God,
do
no,
with age at
no,
all, right?
mm-mm, nothing. No, I
And
think
it's yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
it has something to do with age when you
Mhm.
are rushing to what is the quote unquote agenda of society. So, as a
Ooh,
woman, you
ooh.
might feel, oh, I have to get, engaged by this age. I have to do this by this age. And I have to, so
Mhm.
I guess I would say, unfortunately, there is an ageism behind it for women, at least from my perspective.
You know what? Great point. Never thought about it in those terms, right? But yes, like this societal construct of what you should be doing by a
Correct.
certain age. Okay, possibly from the male point of view, I'm not sure if it's the constructs like that, right? Like
No.
there's an ageism there, but maybe you should be at a certain point in your career or something. So it may not be as much with the relationships, intimate relationships, or
Hmm.
with looking for a significant other,
Hmm.
but it might be in terms of relationships for business, right? Maybe
Right.
that kind of thing. Huh.
But I mean, ultimately,
Yeah.
Everybody's acting a fool, just so we're
Yeah,
clear.
pretty much. Pretty much.
I mean, you might
And
find someone who you knew at 20 who's basically the same exact person at almost 50.
mm,
Like just
mm,
the games
mm,
are consistent. Like that's just who they are.
mm,
So,
yep.
I mean, yeah, in that
That
essence,
is that's the
age
thing.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, age doesn't matter there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, because we're all immature and stupid when we're teens and in our 20s. And hopefully you're not as immature and stupid as you get life experience.
You
That's
shouldn't be. You
hopefully.
shouldn't be if you've learned the lesson.
So maybe you haven't learned the lesson.
If you've learned the lesson, that is possible.
Ooh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. So why don't we go ahead and jump into tip number one,
Mm,
right? So you know what? I need to put this full screen. I need to put it full screen so people
okay.
feel this, right? You drop someone at the first sign of BS. And yes, BS stands for exactly what you think it does, folks. Okay.
Mhm.
So at this point, you've seen it all. You could tell when the BS is coming. You've learned enough that someone who plays games isn't worth your time.
Mm.
Okay. So thoughts. Would you like to tackle that one first?
Ultimately, though, like again, we've
Mhm.
talked before about your spectrum of friends.
Sure.
So you
Sure.
do, that friend who you always say, "Let's do lunch," and you never do lunch. Your friend, "Hey, let's go have some drinks." You never have drinks.
Mhm.
Or the friend that you can make plans and they're going to bail last minute. You're going to get that last minute text.
Oh,
So
something came up and yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, I think it kinda goes even still with dating though, because there's that
Mhm.
if you are, dare I say, casually dating, um,
Is well,
casual relationship.
I've been casually dating for almost 12 years now.
See?
So
But
and yes, folks, I mean that I'm married. If before anyone starts commenting, I've been casually dating for 12 years. Yeah.
but no, if you are casually dating,
Mhm.
you, you kinda learn. Like, I understand this is saying you drop someone at the first sign of BS, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're just kinda
Right.
like, which is obviously saying to me, obviously I'm not too old for playing games, but, I'm just saying, like, I have a higher tolerance, while
Mm.
before it was like, "Oh my god," like, "I can't believe blah, blah, blah," like,
Right.
a strongly worded text saying, "How dare you, blah, blah, blah," and it's just kinda like,
Cut.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and, like, for me, it's kinda like, "Okay, well, maybe I'll try next month or try a month from 2 months
And
from
I
that."
get and I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. I would agree with you there where okay, you might have a higher tolerance where you have a little bit more patience, right?
Mhm.
So you might have a better understanding of okay, they're not necessarily playing games. Something did come up,
Mhm.
but when it becomes a pattern,
Correct.
that's when you're like, okay, you
Right.
know what? I know where you stand, I know where we stand. It's all good.
Mhm.
You contact me. Yeah.
Or you can set up plans for them knowing that you guys aren't gonna do anything and just go ahead and make plans with someone else and then let them feel mighty
It
in the fact that they got to cancel on you, knowing you
yeah.
already had plans.
Knowing you're already gonna go. Yeah.
Everybody's
Well,
different.
that's true. That is true. Well, see, it's funny that we were talking about the friendship part
Mhm.
because the number 2, right? You're tired of helping your friends deal with bad relationships.
Mm.
So, in this, maybe, maybe you are done playing games, but your friends are still dealing with that. They're still coming to you with what's obvious in a relationship that it's a problem, and you are tired of being bothered. What was that? The lessons that haven't been
The
learned yet?
lessons, exactly, exactly. Or actually what I would like to say is, my question always is, "Okay, have you picked up
Mhm.
on the pattern?" Like, you know, we have this conversation every 3 months, it's
Mhm.
kinda like, "Ah." So I get
Or or maybe that one coworker or friend who every Pizza Friday doesn't pay, even though it's their turn to, "No, I paid last week," or "No, I,"
Mhm. Yeah.
it's a pattern. I don't
Yep.
have time for that. We're not playing
Yep.
that game
Yep.
because one, I'm hungry and I'm ready to order. Two, I've paid the last 3 times, so I'm not paying
Yeah.
4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, no.
Get it. I get it.
Don't have time to be bothered.
Yep.
Well, tip number 3. And this is one that I was kinda saying earlier, right? It seems like it's geared towards men or from a woman's point of view,
Mhm.
but I think it actually applies for people overall, right? And there's some other things that we're gonna talk about in this one too. So, this is number 4, I think it is, right?
Mhm.
I lost track already.
No,
That was
3. I
number
think it's
3,
3. This
number
is
3.
3.
His excuses don't fly with you. The no-show who overslept, the player whose stories sound a little too impressive. Amateurs. Now, we're gonna pick this apart in a minute, right? But dude, if you drive a Saturn, no one's gonna believe that you're an angel investor who helps children's hospitals in their spare time. Well, there is some truth to that, right? Like if there is this guy who continues to, or person, we'll say, right? We
Mhm.
won't categorize as guys, but someone who continually misses the deadline of, hey, I'm supposed to be here, supposed to do that. And I won't even say a Saturn, right? Because I drove a Saturn for a little while.
Okay.
And no, I was not an angel investor, but I didn't pretend to be one. But yeah, right. If you're driving around in a car that constantly needs fixed, let's put it
Mm.
that way. The
Okay.
car is always broken down. We are going to have the assumption that you are not this, as in they say angel investor here, right? This $1 million donor for any type of foundation because you refuse to get your car fixed, right? Like
Because you are a broke ass. I mean, come on. Let's be
that's it. It's it, I might be showing my maybe dating ourselves over here, but that's a scrub, right?
That's a scrub. That's a
There's a
scrub.
song about it. That's a scrub. So I want to go back full screen here because pre-show we were talking about this particular tip, right? So let's kind of break this down a little bit because there's some things in here that we talked about. Like there is the possibility that someone could be driving a Saturn
Mhm.
and be an angel investor, right?
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
Let's not categorize Saturn drivers, or let's not try to put angel investors in a box,
Right. Right.
because there is that type of thing that maybe they are uh driving a Saturn and t-shirt and jeans kind of person because they're being understated. They don't
Mhm.
want people to know like the millions they got going on, and they don't need people to know that they're an angel investor, right?
Right.
I
Right.
I would also imagine that angel investors don't care that people know they're, dropping thousands of dollars in donations.
Right. Right.
Just my take on it. Anything you wanted to pick apart with this before we
I
move
mean,
on?
well, I just wanna go back to the scrub thing because I mean, at the price of
Ah,
gas, I mean, that scrub is not looking too I mean, he's looking pretty smart right now because, on the side of his best friend's ride, he's pretty smart. So,
well, is it bad that I bike? Is that a bad thing?
no,
Is that considered a
no,
scrub? No.
no, not a scrub at all, but I mean, it's just kinda like, "Well, are you gonna pick me up on your bike?" Like,
Right. That might be a bad thing
that might
if
be a bad
someone,
thing.
yeah,
Yep,
that
yep,
might be a sub sign, right? A different sign of
correct.
just run, just
Right,
run. That's not
right.
playing games. Just run. Oh man. So here's number 4. This one is you have your own life together, right?
Mhm,
So clearly you got it going on, right? Your stuff
right.
is cool. You're tight, and someone is pulling your chain, jerking you around. And here again, it says cut him loose, huh? Hmm.
Mhm.
Cut them loose before before they hold you back. I'm starting to feel a certain kind of way about this. Like it's all about him. Let him go. Don't let him ruin your time. Yeah. But I think I don't know. Have you experienced this kind of thing before I know I have, and I won't say that I had my life together,
Mhm.
but I was at a point where I was stable, you
Mhm.
know, and I was single. So like, got the job, the bills are paid. Oh, I can put money in my 401k, right? Like paying the school loans, all of that. Like
Mhm.
I'm not going to, or I didn't actually at the time. I wasn't letting someone else kind of take my attention because I had plans. I had things. I was doing stuff. I was
Okay.
actually trying to make I had a own production company, right? So I had things I was trying to do, you know?
Well, I can definitely see where, like, with myself, like the lifestyle that
Mhm.
I have, where it would probably come off as if I'm cutting someone loose, kind of a thing. Because I mean, I just, with me, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it,
Sure.
and, if you want to come along for the ride, awesome. If
Mhm.
you don't, I can probably find somebody else who will. And I don't mean that in a
Sure.
negative way, but it's like if
Sure.
it's all just about a companion or someone to hang out with and what have
Mhm.
you, then I'm cool with that. And so I think that's another thing that's kind of hard for the other person to accept. Because the other thing
Mm.
is you might be in a relationship and not even know it.
Oh, that's
I'm
the
I'm just
yeah, no,
saying.
you're so right, right? If it's so you go through time and oh cool, we're hanging out together, we're
Yeah.
doing meals, we're this, we're that,
Yes.
and then it's like, oh wait, how come they read a game with someone else? What was that about? Oh wait, I wasn't available and I said no, or I didn't respond in
Right.
time,
Then they go
but
through
I
all their texts,
thought
but I don't remember.
I thought that we, I thought
See,
we were
that's
here. I thought.
terrible. Yeah. And it's like, no, like, I don't know. I think the idea of
Mhm,
friendships, relationships, and all that kind of stuff, I think it's changed
mhm.
a lot over time.
I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would imagine. So,
Yeah.
well, so that was the first 4 tips. I think it was
Yes, it
right.
was. Mhm.
Cool. So you know what? Why don't we take a break here? We'll do a quick recap when we come back, but let everybody kind of digest if you're too old to play games or not. If because now I want everybody to think, well, wait a minute, I do that. Or maybe you shouldn't be playing games. Maybe you shouldn't be the one playing games, right? How about that? But let's take a break. And when we come back, we will dive into the last 3. And, maybe there's some that might be legit. I don't know. All right, folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back with the next 3 tips. All right, folks, welcome back from the break. This is Cruising with the Coaches, a conversation with Julie and Lee. So before we hit the break, we were talking about, and I got to correct myself here. We were talking about this in the break. They're not tips; they're
Like
actually reasons, right?
signs.
Signs. Yes, thank you.
Signs.
See, and I should have let you lead
No. No.
but you're right. They are signs. We are talking about 7 signs
To
that
the
you
end of the
are
world. Mhm.
too old.
'Cause you're
well,
never
well,
too
we're
old to play games. You can always play games. Come on now.
I'm not going to tell you which one plays games, folks. I'm not going to tell you which one. I think you can
I'm
figure it out.
playful. I
But
don't play games. I'm just playful.
but yeah, we've been talking about signs that you are too old to be playing games. So we went through the first 4.
Mhm.
You know what? Let's do a quick recap because I don't remember any of them. I guess that means I'm just old, right?
It's
Not even
like
too
the
old to be
sign
playing
of BS
games.
was the one. I remember that one.
Yeah. So the first one is you drop someone at the first sign of BS. Okay.
Mhm.
The second one is you are tired of helping your friends deal with the bad relationships. Third one is their excuses don't fly, not just his, but their excuses. And the fourth one is you have your own life together. So you're basically not, you don't have time. You don't have time for someone who's not making time for you, who's not keeping their word, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Got it.
All right. So let's move on to the fifth sign. Man, my math is horrible today. It must be Wednesdays because my math is horrible on Wednesdays. So the fifth sign that you are too old to be playing games in a relationship is that you know what you want out of a relationship. Okay. So you've lived long enough and you've had enough relationships to really calibrate what you need from a partner. And it's never going to be someone who plays games.
Mm,
That's kind of self explanatory, I think, you
yeah.
know? Um, yeah, can we just put yes and check it? Right? I mean, yeah, if you've been in enough relationships, and I don't even know if that goes to being too old, right? You could be in enough relationships and have been with different people and learned the lessons from those relationships.
Uh-huh.
And then you're able to kind of know what you are looking for or know what you need.
So
But,
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
but so that
Sure.
we just recently had this conversation,
Hmm.
and the idea was, coming to the realization that you're not gonna find everything that you want in one person. That's just the reality of things.
Very true. Very
So,
true.
as you are so-called calibrating, you realize what you're willing to sacrifice and what doesn't need to be brought to the table type of a thing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that's where you get in that weird space of, where you're telling young people and,
Hmm.
men and women, not to settle. Like, you can have
Mm.
what you want, but
Hmm.
can you? Can you really?
Well, and you know what? And I think that then does come along with maturity, right?
Yes.
Like you
Yes.
said, what are you willing to sacrifice? So, and maybe people take the word sacrifice with the negative connotation, right?
Correct.
But let's call it compromise.
Yes.
What are
Yes.
you willing to compromise on? Because while you may have to compromise on some things, right? Well,
Right.
guess what? So will the other person.
Right.
So what are the things that are like important that you can come together on?
Mhm.
Those are the things that you then focus on. And okay, is it important to maybe one of your goals was to have a mansion, right?
Right.
With your significant other. Is that really important? And if it is, then maybe that's something that you cannot compromise on, right?
And, don't knock the guy driving the Saturn out because maybe he's just putting his money away and he's not buying the car that, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's
So that he can have the mansion.
exactly. So,
Right, right. And that's
yeah.
the thing. If it's I remember
Nothing against
um
Saturns, just so we're
I
clear.
I I drove one. I drove
My
I,
sister.
I I'm feeling attacked, but no. I remember talking to a friend of mine years ago, and it was funny because I was actually single at the time when he was. We were talking about marriage, right,
Okay.
and their relationship. But I think this is important just in relationships overall, especially if you're talking about a life partner, right, significant other. It's really about being equally yoked. Okay. So you may not have growth. Everybody expects it to be this, right? You grow at the same time
Mhm.
together.
It's not that at all.
That's not how it works. No. Now, if one person grows and then the other person grows, but if it's always like this, if there's always a gap, that might be difficult to overcome too.
Yep.
Okay. So everybody grows at different rates. So it's here, then here, in here, or not just at different rates, but in different areas. So
Mhm.
that's where you compromise and complement each other. That's what you want to, I guess that's what I'm saying. You want to look for those things, right?
Correct.
Where
Correct.
you can complement each other. That's what we're talking about.
And in essence, understanding the fact that you're not always going to be in love with each other.
Hmm.
The key is both not falling out of love at the same time.
And you can't eat off of love. or,
Exactly.
or love don't pay the bills. So, and
Exactly.
not being funny, folks, like it don't. It,
Mm-mm.
yes, you need love for a relationship, absolutely.
Mhm.
But again, ain't nobody eating off of love. It ain't paying the bills. It ain't taking care of the kids.
Mhm.
It's not doing those things.
Yep.
So you better find what else is there other than that. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
other than that. Okay, I think we're starting a new show. Relationship talk with Julian Lee coming up next. All right, so moving on to I believe this is number 6, right? If
Mhm.
we've been keeping count. So this one is you have you the sign that you know you're too old to play games. You have children, and regardless of their age, your children come first, right?
Mm.
And so anyone that plays games with hurting your children or their children's mother, whatever, man, listen, no, just no. So we got to come back out on camera for this one because I know I got something I want to say, but I'll give the floor to you first.
I think for this one, it's to each his own,
Hmm.
because I think you also get to a point where your children are adults,
Hmm.
and your intimacy or issues with another person are just that. They're your intimacies and your issues with that person that your
Hmm.
child doesn't need to be aware of. So I don't know
Or
how
that
I
they don't have to.
feel.
It doesn't affect
They don't
them,
have to be a
but
party to it.
right because
Yeah,
they're grown, and I
correct.
and I can accept that
Yeah,
100%, 100%,
yeah. But
absolutely.
if it's a situation where, let's say you have adult children, but the other person has younger children. So then you've got
Hmm.
that's the ooh, I
Yeah,
don't, it always cracks me up when somebody has children but doesn't want to date somebody who has children.
it's like
That's
like
like,
like dude, you
wasn't
you
that
got
an
kids.
oxymoron?
You
Like,
you,
come
you
on
got
now.
kids. What are you doing?
Well, they can only have one kid. It's like,
Well,
like
they have one to your
y-
3. Is that
yeah,
what it is? Like,
exactly. It's like,
yeah,
you hear
yeah.
yourself?
Well, well, I know that this is one of the things. I have an online course for men, right,
Mhm,
that I coach, and this is one of the important ones. If the man is not with the mother, that's okay, right? That's
mhm,
not something we say force. That's ideal, but it doesn't have to be.
mhm,
But the way that you treat either your children's mother or the way that if she's in another relationship, okay, how does she get treated? That's important, right?
mhm, mhm.
Because that is fundamental for what the children see.
Exactly.
So that's what, like, I really want to add that piece. That's super important. And what I see is with a lot of younger folks, the maturity is not quite there. Not all, but with some.
Mhm,
It's not
mhm.
there because they're like, oh, they're just kids, right? They'll deal with it, or they get dragged around. I've seen people had friends where they have several relationships in and out, and the kids are getting seasick because it's a
Mhm.
revolving door, you
Right.
know?
Right.
And so what are they seeing? What is that foundation that they're getting from this? So that's almost not a sign that you're told to play games. It's like, man, I get that you should be able to have a relationship and you should.
Yeah.
But then maybe until you are in a place where you want to introduce your kids to that person, maybe you
Mhm.
shouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
That
And
kind
then
of
the
thing.
the other thing too with that is with the children is that whole pay attention to how that person like reports or speaks on the person that was supposed to be their significant other at some point in their lives.
Mhm.
Because understanding, is that a deep rooted issue or is it just a specific to this person issue?
Right.
Because, that's the hard part. Cause like, okay, you know, I have friends where like they speak this and speak that and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, do you hate women? Because
Right.
I'm just confused. Like, what did you like you
Right.
wouldn't say something like that to your mother. So why would you say that about the mother of your children? And
Exactly.
the same thing with women. It's like, well,
Yeah.
do you hate men? Because at
Because
some point you
it
chose
certainly
him.
sounds like it. Yes. Sounds like none of us are good,
Yeah, and
but
it's
you're
like,
telling
ooh,
me and I'm a guy, right? Like
yes. I'm
you,
like,
you understand that I'm listening to you and I get it.
yeah, I don't want you to shoot me when I leave. Like, are we good? I'm like, are we okay? As
Exactly.
they're asking my opinion, and you're just sitting there like,
I don't want to
I'm a
give it.
little
Um,
afraid to give you my opinion at this
I'm
point.
like, whatever your opinion is what we're going with. Yes.
That's what
Yes.
we're gonna go with. Sounds good to me.
I'm with it. I'm with it. 100%. Oh man. So then, well, this is the
Uh,
last one. This is
this is the
number
last one.
7.
Yes.
You do not respond to the random booty calls anymore. So maybe you've had a regular friend with benefits, in which case, cool, go with that, right? If that works for both of you. But responding to the 3 a.m. text in hopes that this time will be more than just a friend with benefit? Come on. If that's the pattern, okay. So, let's talk about this one. This is number 7. This is it.
So I will have to say, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I've gotten really tolerant over the years. Um, because also understanding that person's work, or like what they do.
hmm
So
hmm
like whether it's a third shifter or a second shifter, or like just
Sure.
understanding they're a night owl, and so they thought of you at 10:30 at night. Because I remember before I would be like, 10:01, do not
Is the
call me.
cutoff, and
That is
that's
the
it.
cutoff. 9:59. 9:59. That's what you got until 9:59. So it's just kind of like, I don't know now that I'm thinking about it, because I've but not that they're not
Well, we'll
to
see that.
presume as a booty call kind of a thing,
Right, and I think
which
that
is
so
the
that's the
difference.
right. You can still be in contact, right? If
Yeah.
it's doesn't have to be a friend with benefit, but like you said, someone thought about you, or if they're working a midnight shift, second shift, whatever. Hey,
Mhm.
just got off work, cool. What's up, right?
Right, right.
I'm with that. Like I get that. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, no, I'm not with that because no,
Ah,
but I get what you're saying, right? I
yeah,
understand,
because
but
I do
yeah,
tend not to respond, because I don't wanna start a conversation,
because I'm
'cause
trying to go
I'm trying to
sleep.
go to bed. What you
Right,
doing?
right. But now if they're texting you at 2 a.m.,
Mhm.
like, yo, you up?
"Yo, I
What
just
you
got out the
doing?
club." I don't know, does anyone even go to a club anymore? Where do you go to meet people?
Wait. Again, I love your male voice.
"Get out the club." "Hey,
Oh,
babe, what you doing, babe?"
well, I'm gonna tell you, if that's what he sounds like, just know, right?
"Hey, babe."
Yeah, you got it. Run.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
The
no.
worst is the "sup."
Oh,
"Sup." Like,
mm,
"Oh,
mm, mm.
okay."
Yeah, see, that's it. Yeah, too old to be playing game. What's a game? Shut nothing.
Nothing. Actually, not a damn thing.
Right, and definitely not anything with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Oh
exactly.
man, folks. Well, yeah, we've gone through the 7 signs of knowing if you're too old to be playing games in a relationship, and clearly we were past that a long time before being old. Oh, sorry, I'm old because you have evidence now. See, I'm old. So, any last thoughts you want to add on those 7 signs before we go?
I mean, I guess, my whole thing is just like, I don't know, dating is so different at 20, at 30, at
hmm
40, all the
hmm
different ages.
Indeed.
And so just understanding that, your value at each stage is what's important. And so
Mm,
to never cut yourself short.
I like it. I like it. Great nugget to leave with everybody. So, well, folks, it's been another Wednesday. We have enjoyed being here with you. We've enjoyed you being with us. We hope you got some laughs and definitely follow the signs so that you're not too old or you're too old to be playing games. Yes,
Mhm,
that's it.
mhm.
Yeah, don't play games. Don't do that. You can also find us on Google Podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. You can find us on YouTube. So subscribe, like what we're doing, comment. You can also find us on Traverse TV. Right now, that's on the Roku platform, soon to be, if not already, on Apple TV and many other streaming platforms. All right, you guys. Until next time, this is Lee and Julie signing off.
Woo!